This is Rich Cambeck for the Infomax network, and we are continuing with part two on port security with Dr. Philip Wainwright. So, to elaborate a little bit more on that, there's in Long Beach, they don't have a data warehousing capability of an IT engine that utilizes an integration and unified view of an incoming outgoing data and the shipping to the TEU. They have, I think, probably 15 million containers coming through that port a year. And it's a just-in-time economy system because of the vulnerability there of 44% of the import that comes in there to the U.S. For California especially, if the port was shut down, we would only survive for 3 days of provisions. But the one thing I've noticed in your system is you have what's called Enterprise Information Integration, which is real-time operational reporting on time-sensitive activities and data
Right.
movement. Could you elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, fundamental to that is cooperation of all the users of the port. There's some 5 to 600. When you break down a port's activity, there's 5 to 600 events that occur daily to make it function properly on a commercial basis. So those systems, be they hardware, software, other shippers and movers, have to be assessed, and they have to agree to a common processing
Mm-hmm.
unit so that it can be realized in real time. But that's not as difficult as you might think. What you do is the port authority simply sends a letter out to everybody and says, okay, first of all, are you willing to do this? And if so, are to participate in our port, which will cause more efficiency and safety as you use our port. Are you going to participate in this program where you either opt in or opt out to participate in this enterprise agreement that we have? And you're going to find that 90+% will opt in. They're going to say, what's it cost us? And we're going to tell them the good news is it's not going to cost you anything. You'll have better information as to what you're doing on our port and its efficiencies, and it's going to be for free because the system itself will generate activities that will pay for it, and everybody's got the best of both worlds. You have better information as a shipper and a user of the port authority can better handle you and make your cargo move more efficiently, both in and out, and it's not going to cost you anything because for the overall greater good, everybody wins.
There you go. Well, understanding that there's approximately 4,500 separate sources of commercial intelligence and intermodal data that's created for TEUs that arrive at any port in the USA, that equates to about 17 million TEUs times 4,500 potential data packets, which works out to about 7.65 billion separate entities per annum of information. So you do have you do have to be able to have the capabilities of handling quite a database. It would seem to
Yes,
me.
you certainly do, and if you're going to be online, then that's your cable and fiber optics. So in order to have anything close to a smart port, that has to be fundamental. Because if you don't have the data pipe to process to process those issues and the bits of information, they're really known as packets, as you mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
You're never going to get to the end of the ball of string, and it's not going to be very helpful for you because your vulnerabilities are going to be too great. There are solutions. There are computer farms and others online, and also have redundant systems we can satellite link as well as other systems which we will keep confidential. They have virtual computer networks that are available in the United States and California alone has 17 such data vaults that are available, highest security with almost unlimited capability, that more than we would ever use it, even if we turned all our ports on at the same time. That data is stored in the virtual vaults, and it's immediately retrievable in real time, virtual reality. And so the functionality is already in place and has been provided not by the government but by private enterprise. We need only to utilize and access that system. This is what Sparta Matrix also does as one of its core functions. Not only do we provide the other system aspects, but we provide that core vaulting of information so that we give as close to real time as we can. Now, real time, let me just define that term in really layman's terms. Real time to most people means, oh, that's an instant gratification. Anything less than 5 to 6 minutes on an IT system like we're talking about for security purposes is not good enough, but is at the acceptable range. Most of the systems that will function that are related to damage mitigation and information retrieval is simply a matter of seconds. If you can imagine the same sort of response that you get when you Google any kind of issue you want to, that's the same kind of response you're going to get from those big, huge, humongous data vaults and servers. They're going to give you in a matter of seconds millions of pieces of information. Maybe not billions. That may take another 3 or 4 seconds longer, but certainly good enough. Especially as opposed to now, where there's no really real-time information available. They're having to make decisions based on historical data and a very good guesstimate and estimate as to what may happen. At the end of the day, it's going to be a human decision, and we want to arm those humans with as much real-time data as we can based on the historicals as well as assessment of the current conditions in place and how they interact. That's where that's what becomes a smart port. That's where you're at safety security for our dock workers as well as those people that participate. Never mind any potential contaminants that may be in that cargo or on board those ships that may be residual and you not even detect until later. So the key, Rich, in summarizing is we have the data vaults that are available to process all that information you mentioned earlier, billions of packets of information, all stored in more than one location. You've got triple redundancy. It's immediately recallable, just as if any of us online go and have a virtual. When we Google, that information comes up in a specific set of documents that are already what we call protocols. They're already arranged for a specific port based on historical information. So that's very, very reliable data.
Good enough. Well, that's what we get down to the single version of truth, as you call it,
Yes.
and or the acronym Power of Choice, and proactively managed and remain safe and commercially efficient system.
Exactly.
Very good. Okay. Well, thank you, Phil, for that explanation. We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Rich, for the opportunity to explain ourselves.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Take care.
Take care. Bye. And that concludes our segment on port security for the Infomax network. This is Rich Camback.